This is The Heat Source, the podcast where we learn everything we can about hot sauce one bottle at a time. We are your hosts, Mike and Matt, and today we're trying sauces from Lucky Dog Hot Sauce. Let's heat up. All right, and welcome back to the Heat Source Quickfire, where we try some sauces from makers that we have already reviewed. And so we've got some new sauces from one of our original hot sauce makers that we tried.
Perfect timing
Lucky
on
Dog.
the old
Yeah,
the Stewie feet up there.
yeah. My son is just waking up, realizing that everyone is in the living room, so he's going to go over there.
He heard you hit play, so he's like, well, time to move.
Yeah. But no, this is Lucky Dog, where we tried this. This was our second episode twice that we did,
Yeah.
where we recorded. I messed up the settings. We recorded again. And we've done a few other sauces. I know that one was the El Perro Fortunato. We've done that Thai chili pineapple.
Yep.
We've done another one. Oh, the ridiculously tasty mustard, chipotle mustard.
Oh, yeah.
That one,
Yeah.
I went through that one pretty fast. But
You wolfed that one down. I forgot about that one. That's how fast you ate it.
that was early on where you were like, yeah, you can keep the sauce. And then you started to take some home. These ones, I'm excited about these for two separate reasons. So this one is the anniversary sauce, the 10-year anniversary sauce he made with the brewery Drake's Brewing Denogonizer IPA. But this one has a lot of things going on. Scotch bonnet pepper sauce, blueberry Szechuan peppercorn, Drake's beer. There's a lot of things going on here that I'm very excited about. Szechuan peppercorn specifically, because I know that was something.
Is that a hint toward your fact?
Oh, well, okay, we'll talk about it. Because I have two different ways to go, and I think I'm going to go one way, but I want to make sure that I'm not cheating.
I think we both went the same directions.
But I have a different way I can go.
Okay.
And then the other sauce is their Hound, which is on their scale of sauce. It is above extra hot with an atomic cloud on their indicator. But that one is a roasted pepper sauce with Carolina Reaper, mango, and tamarind, which the tamarind, I think we've only ever had tamarind in the Mama Juana sauce from Faya, which, by the way, I put that in my chili since we did a chili cook-off a few days ago. Every time I eat the chili now, I put that in there. That's what it was missing.
Was it?
Just
that
good
specific
heat,
sauce?
good flavor. Yeah. I should have just dumped a bucket of that in there.
I did like that sauce. It was... You kind of took offense to it, but that's 2 years in a row where I told you it was like souped up Hormel chili.
Yeah, the chili that I made for an office contest.
I love Hormel chili.
Oh, this is like elevated Hormel chili, and I'm like, okay. And you were excited about it, and I just
that is a massive compliment.
I was like, is he just trying to like say it in a positive tone? But
no, I love it. I could sit there, heat up a can of Hormel chili, and just spoon it down from the can.
And that's why we're qualified to judge flavor and quality of sauces, because of that palate that we have.
Yes.
It's
called a salt cleanse. It's when you put way too much sodium in your system and it cleanses your palate, and then it makes other things. It's
kind of like I've made some really good like queso, like crock-pot queso or different quesos and stuff. But then I've also done Block of Velveeta, tomatoes, some chili, some, throw a couple generic things in there. And I'm like, that's also really good.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not going to disqualify something because it's simpler or using very bad for you ingredients. That Block of Velveeta cheese, just looking at it going, that's in my system.
Yeah.
That's what's in there. But yeah, so this is kind of a question for you that it's just interesting to me. Do you remember when we recorded the episode for Scott at Lucky Dog?
Like the date?
Roughly.
We were in Cincinnati.
I just am amazed at how long ago it was.
Hold up. I'm going to go... April.
March.
Really?
March 22nd.
What?
That's when we published it, so that's technically after our second time recording.
No way.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah. It's on there.
How has that almost been a year?
I don't know. That's the crazy thing. I'm like, well, we have done a lot of episodes. And
well, I guess it started over Christmas. I was like, hey, I got a hot sauce. I don't see hot sauce podcast. You're like, hey, I bought this stuff.
Yeah, because it was the initial. It was initially like, I think my response back was like, yeah, that's cool. And then over the weekend, I'm just like, hey, so I made a Google Drive with all this information and all these sauces, and I followed all these people, and I also kind of made an Instagram page.
Yeah. And it was so early on, and knowing it was like, okay, that's sweet. You did all that. What was your last name again? Like,
yeah.
It walked that line.
It's like, okay, cool. It's like, I guess we're recording at his house. Does he live nearby here? I don't know.
Is he a serial killer?
Also, update from, this will air much later than that, but update on the Powerball. I did not win on Wednesday. I know you asked me last time we recorded.
Yep.
Did not win. There's another one tonight. It's 1.5 billion.
Is it tonight?
Yeah, it's Friday.
Okay.
It's Friday or Saturday?
I thought it was Saturday.
Maybe it's Saturday. I don't know. I never do these things.
Yeah, I knew you were waiting for it to go up a little bit more.
I bought my first ticket, and I'm just biding my time. That 1.3 billion was not quite enough. I was trying to think what I would do with, like, I was talking with someone else about, like, what I would do with that money, and I listed off, like, 5 things, and they were like, what a boring list of things.
Yeah.
And one of them was, like, set aside money for, like, a college fund for my kids. Like, you just have the money for college now. And I'm like, okay. Like, obviously, I'm not able to quantify how much money this actually is.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so no Powerball yet. Once it is, the production value of the episodes will probably be much better. We'll be talking from, like, an actual, like, podcast studio that I build.
I thought you were just going to say we're just going to get a second microphone.
We will get a second microphone. Yeah. It's something where that'll be
I don't care if I won a couple lotteries. We're not losing the tablecloth.
Yeah. Tablecloth will stay. We'll stay as gross as it is. I have to try to cover it every now and then because I'm worried that Angela will come down here doing other stuff in the basement and go, I have to clean that.
Yeah.
It's like, no.
Don't touch that. Just
Luckily,
right on the end with Sharpie. Please do not wash.
Luckily, her kind of baseline for that is like, yeah, that's filthy. You need to clean that.
Okay, that's
like,
good.
All right, we're good with that. All right, so we're going to do this anniversary sauce first. Again, with the quick fires, we're going to try to keep each sauce to like 15 minutes. Sometimes we go over. But we're also going to bring a fun fact to it. Now, this one on the hot scale is listed as hot on his...
It says hot-er, right?
Yeah, up there it says hot-TER, and then on the scale itself that he has, it has at the hot level. And again, with our heat, it's all based on preference, or tolerance, I should say. But obviously, 0 is no heat. 1 is just the presence of heat. 2 is starting a lingering heat. 3 is reacting, nose running, eyes watering, sweating, whatever it might be. 4 is good pain. 5 is bad pain. So,
sorry, real quick. I figured out a way to gas my apartment. Courtney and I made jalapeno poppers the other day.
Yeah.
And she just quick gutted and split them over the sink. Mm-hmm. And I flipped the garbage disposal on to grind them up, shoot them down. That turns it into a mist with like a 10-foot radius of pepper spray.
Well, and
that was miserable. It was in your lungs, in your nostrils, in your eyes. And you're like, hold on, what's going on?
Well, when I cut peppers, it's like there is like that almost like when you're zesting a fruit.
Like just a mist. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the garbage disposal did it. And I think what it was, because I always run hot water when I run the garbage disposal. I think maybe the steam just rising up literally just made it
to think somebody else did something like that recently where it was like they had a bunch of like leftover pepper components and then I can't remember now, but it was like they did a similar thing where they were just like, it was unbearable.
Yeah.
Oh man, I wish I remembered who that was. All right, we're going to open up this label here. That was a really good label. This is, so we do this, the label, and we think it's cool to like open up, and we had a stretch of just like terrible label openings.
Yeah.
And his sauce was the reason that we started it, because that one was so clean.
Right.
That we were like, oh, we got to keep doing this.
Yeah.
So the legend continues on his quality seals. Quality seals just made me think of like zoo animals.
Just really clean looking seals.
Like a guy just desperately trying to get people to come to an aquarium. Guys, we have quality seals.
Just really good BMI on the seals.
They're friendly. They'll art at you. I don't know what that's called.
I think it's just bark.
Is it bark?
I think so.
Okay. Fun fact. Seals just bark. All right. So the description on this, it says, When approached with the idea of using Drake's denogonizer, Lucky Dog thought it was crazy enough idea that it just might work. It was quite a task to keep up with the bold, dark, double-hopped denogonizer beer-forward notes are complemented beautifully by elderwood smoke, Scotch bonnet chilies, roasted garlic, fresh habaneros, dates, and the exotic citrusy sizzle of Szechuan peppercorns. The result is a truly bonkers hot sauce. Hot, savory, sharp, slightly sweet, entirely unique, and the perfect way to celebrate Lucky Dog's 10th anniversary, which, 10 years for Scott, because this just came out this year, so we're in the 10-year anniversary time of Lucky Dog. It says eggs to meat, seafood, pasta, poultry, and more. So pretty much whatever you can come up with. Smells amazing.
Ooh.
So smelling that just reminds me that like every time we try a Lucky Dog sauce,
dude, I like that.
There's like a level of layering flavors that like I look back at other stuff where I'm like, I like the straightforward simpleness of this, and I'm like, oh, but this is like next level.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right,
It just smells like it works. Do you remember? So this was made with, what is it?
I listed all of it.
I know the
beer?
Yeah.
Yeah, Drake's denogonizer.
Yeah. So kind of funny that, we see this, and then just last week we learned that a local hot sauce company is made with
the barrels.
The Founder barrels. Barrels. Right across the street from the office.
Yeah, not that far from the office. Although I did go to the grocery store and they did not have that.
Really?
Yeah.
I see it everywhere. I don't know how you've never heard of it.
It's crazy that I've never heard of it when it's a local one, but at Meijer, they didn't have it. I'm sure
it was just probably more insulting to know that the office was.
Yeah, I'm sure at Martha's Vineyard they probably have.
I think they do.
There.
Yeah.
All right, but yeah, this is like a nice brown like dark brown, brownish red consistency. Very smooth pour. I spilled a little bit on my side this time. I have a full tasting of it.
I'm heaping.
All right, let's give it a try.
Dude, that's a burrito sauce.
There's a lot going on there. I did get the beer.
I am getting a little, I don't want to say alcohol, but I'm getting like the feeling of beer in my mouth.
Getting like the hops of it.
That's a burrito sauce. That makes me want to jog to Taco Boy from here.
I'm going to get nachos at lunch. I've already decided.
Dude, that's
technically good. Sunday's National Nacho Day, which is weird because it was International Day of Nachos like 3 weeks ago. But again, never need an excuse not to have nachos.
I like that. It's hot.
It does have a good heat to it, yeah. It's
almost like a 2+.
Yeah, I mean, it's a definitely lingering heat. It's hard for me to gauge, so I burnt the tip of my tongue.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've noticed that it's more sensitive. You can even see like the white. So when you normally like grab a macaroni noodle while it's boiling, like give it a quick shake and then eat it to see if it's done.
Mm-hmm.
You have to shake it a little more when it's the spiral cavatappi.
To get the extra water out.
And I didn't, and I put it in there and just flush of water on the tip of my tongue, boiling hot. So I was like, oh man, like this is going to be a struggle.
I was booby trapped at the coffee pot yesterday. Literally, I poured the coffee, seemed a decent temperature, and I took a very cautious sip. And it was just like getting Bruce Lee kicked in the face, and my upper lip was blistered. It was almost as bad of a booby trap as this morning when I walked in your house. I literally, cartoon style, stepped on a rake and it hit me in the face.
I wish I saw that. I didn't think that that's really what happened. I thought of like...
Well, it wasn't laying on the ground. It's laying against the door.
Oh, okay.
So I stepped on it and it only had 18 inches to travel and it just slapped me upside the head.
That makes more sense. Because I was just saying, like, I just don't think... And if it was the plastic one, I'm like, I feel like it would have broken instead of come up.
It was the plastic one.
Yeah, so that makes more sense only coming off the wall.
Yeah.
I always think of whenever... I know the cartoon is the first thing that comes to people's minds, but the rake coming up, I always think of the movie Goonies when they're like trying to like leave. Have you seen Goonies?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When they're trying to like leave the cabin, like let's get away from this cabin, like this is a creepy place, and they walk away and like the rake with like stuff on it, like a dead fish and like a bunch of like pops up and they think it's like a monster and they run off. That's what I think of.
No, this was just caught me upside the head against the
This
wall.
one just gave you a hit upside the head. All right. So...
That's a good hot sauce.
So I'll address the fun facts now to see which way I want to go. So I have a fun fact that I pulled where I'm like, all right, I'm just pulling something based off, whether it be ingredients or name or whatever. I have that one. I also have facts about some of the internal history or workings or elements of the sauce that I found out from like listening to interviews of his. I don't know if that's cheating if I'm just like using facts that he told in an interview.
Are they relevant to this specific hot sauce?
Yes.
Okay.
Does that count as my fact, or is it just a fact that I should share?
I'll leave it up to you. Whatever you think's fair.
I'm going to go with my own fact. I'm going to bring up the fact that I found out about the sauce. It'll be a little background.
Okay.
And then I'll have my fact because I feel like that's better. I feel like it's better, and I don't know. That way I get to say 2 facts, but only one counts.
Okay.
So, little background on this. So, I was listening to, Scott was on the Talking Heat podcast with Hot Sauce Guide and Fat Guy Certified. And he was going through a bunch of different things, and he was talking about his anniversary sauce because it was, recently had come out at the time. And so it took him, I believe it was at least 26 batches to get this right.
26. So when he makes test batch, do you know how big it is?
I do not know. That's a good question.
Okay.
Maybe he'll answer it after listening to this.
Okay.
Thank you in advance, Scott. He almost gave up around batch 20 because he was just getting, like, the beer and the peppercorns are 2 very challenging elements that he was trying to get in there. One of the things that helped him, figure it out is he actually removed the peppercorns and worked on the flavor of the other elements and then added the peppercorn in. So he had a good flavorful sauce that worked, and then he introduced the peppercorns back into it. He specifically wanted a like Szechuan peppercorn sauce, but he didn't want it to be an Asian sauce. He said that's easy.
Yeah.
It's kind of like on Chopped where it's like, here's your ingredients. It's everything to make nachos. If you make nachos, though, it's kind of the easy route.
Right.
It's kind of like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Still would have been challenging to balance everything, but he wanted to make something that wasn't an Asian sauce. And then I did just note that this is a double hop 9.75% Imperial IPA with intense hops. That's how they
I'm definitely getting that.
I love it.
That is good.
I'm not one that really likes super hoppy beers, but I do love beer in cooking. I love beer bread. I love beer and chili. The chili I made had beer in it.
Did it really?
Yep. Hormel's didn't have that.
That's what put you a notch above.
Hormel's doesn't throw a bottle of Modelo in there.
You did tell me about that. You had to run out instead of buying a tall boy, you had to buy a full 6-pack or something.
I did, yeah. I had to do that. Well, it was either that or throw in a Coors Light, which would have been just gross. So now that's the stuff that I had from just listening to the interview. Yeah. Now my fact is about this some of the science behind the Szechuan peppercorn.
Okay.
Are we going to overlap on this one?
We'll overlap on Szechuan, but that's where it ends.
Okay. So, do you know what happens when you eat like Szechuan peppercorn? Typically, typically the Szechuan
I'm shaking
peppercorn.
my head no on a podcast. Sorry.
Yeah, shaking.
No, I do not, Matthew.
Okay. So there is a signature numbing property to Szechuan peppercorn. It's not like if you put it in anything it'll numb, but it's like there is that. It is actually not unlike capsaicin, which is the component in chili peppers, that it gives molecule reacts with our taste buds and cells, giving anyone who eats it a vibrating electrical sensation in their mouth. The molecule would give their mouth a sensory overload, causing their mouth to lose feeling. So it's like...
So let's put it in food.
Well, let's put it in food. Same thing with like peppers, where it's like, oh, this is hot. I want to cook it in something.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
No, it's a good way to think about it.
But there's a science behind it where it's like, hey, this pepper's... If you went to someone that's never had hot sauce or never had peppercorn, or even like aliens come down and say, all right, we're going to cook with you and want to see your customs and all that. It's like, all right, here's a pepper. It's going to make you feel like your mouth's on fire. It's not going to be on fire, but it's going to make it feel like that.
You're
intensely.
Not going to enjoy this.
And they're like, oh, so it's a torture device. No. Goes in our chili, goes in our sauces. Here's a peppercorn. It's going to numb it. It's going to feel like what was the thing it said?
Electricity?
Like an electrical vibrating sensation. And your tongue's going to go numb. It's like, oh my God. But yeah, we're going to put that in there too. And it's like, we got to get out of here. These guys
These guys are into self-mutilation and torture.
Yeah. So but yeah, it's just very interesting to me that there's some similarities in the science behind it, but it is...
Now, is that specifically with Szechuan peppercorns, or is like a regular peppercorn have similar properties?
I think it's Szechuan peppercorn specifically.
Really?
I can't
say I've ever had them stand alone. I'd like to try one, just pop a handful of them.
there was a YouTube channel, the Try Guys, where they tried increasingly hotter Korean noodles, and there was Szechuan in there, and they said it was a very numbing sensation, and the one that they used, or the combination of flavors they used, that if you take a sip of water, it'll taste like citrusy. They said it's all just your tongue reacting in a different way.
Yeah. That's interesting.
I thought so.
That's way cooler than my fact.
That's my fact.
My fact is so locally niche that people are probably going to stop listening after this one. But I
remember you warning me about this one.
So, Michigan used to have a ton of pheasants. Are you familiar with a pheasant?
I am familiar with what a pheasant is.
Yes. So
That's as far as I'll go.
Can you describe one for me?
It's a smaller bird that you hunt.
Oh, so like a hummingbird.
Not that small.
I'm just kidding. But no, yeah.
I've never had a roasted hummingbird.
Really?
Not yet.
So it's just a chicken with a long tail. It's kind of what it looks like, got a ring on their neck. Used to be everywhere in Michigan. You see them a lot. I think it's the state bird of South Dakota or North Dakota, one of them. Very widespread in like the plain states. Used to have a ton of them way back early 1900s in Michigan. They're actually not native at all. They're from China. And we had ringneck pheasants.
Okay.
Ringneck pheasants really like the open grasslands, don't do well with wood and brush, stuff like that. So, Michigan was clear cut, turned into grassland, great for pheasants. Everything started to grow back up. And in the 1940s, Michigan was looking to source more pheasants because they noticed the pheasant population going down. And it was a massive, there were whole towns that shut down for the opening day of pheasant season. Okay. It's the equivalent of November 15th in Michigan. It's like school's closed, everyone's gone, I'm busy. Michigan noticed that they were going away and that it's a Chinese bird. The Sichuan region of China has Sichuan pheasants. So Michigan tried sourcing Sichuan pheasants. There was some turmoil between the U.S. and China at the time. Weren't getting along, but it's like, hey, we really want some of your pheasants, So what happened in 1983, Michigan sent a team of experts to China to aid Sichuan in developing hydroelectric power. Let it be known that it was in search of wild pheasants from the province. So they went and they're like, hey, we'll help you with hydroelectric, Michigan specifically, because we have a lot of hydroelectric dams. Yeah. They're like, that's also a fun great, fact. I think I've thrown a handful of
You're layering.
I am.
You're layering like Scott Sauce. You're just layering the fun facts.
Exactly.
It's like, oh, here's a little Szechuan peppercorn.
You caught
Here's a little beer.
Yeah.
I've done it too.
But I just thought it was funny. It's like, hey, we'll help you with your hydroelectric infrastructure. Can we have some of your pheasants? And it was really just to get the foot in the door, to get 30 pheasants. They brought 30 pheasants back, and 6 of them died. So we had 24 pheasants. That's what we used to source. Just because how our environment was changing to more woody instead of grassland, the Szechuans just do better in that little bit woodier environment. So I just thought that was funny. The trade for hydroelectric for pheasants.
Trade for science for just like bird.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we'll help you with our technology. Let me get 20 of those, 30 of those.
Right. That's funny.
It is also a little, I'm curious, like, how long ago was this?
This was in 83.
So I'm wondering, like, depending on how they traveled back with them from Sichuan, where they're like, the Sichuan region, where they're like, all right, we're traveling back, we got the 30, and it's like, oh, one died. All right, we're doing okay. Like, I wonder if it was like a bunch of them died in one lump incident, or if it was just like, hopefully this travel
guys, we gotta hurry up.
Yeah, it's like, these are the ones that are hardy for our area, right?
Right. We don't want those ones anyways.
Just want to make sure.
Yeah.
But no, that's a good one. I like that. I like the, yours is much more, it is funny though. Like,
extremely niche.
Yours is extremely niche, but it's an interesting history lesson. And I'm assuming, I haven't looked at the regions of who listens, but I feel like we probably get a lot of like Midwest or Michigan listeners, aside from the sauce, depending on the sauce that we try that week.
Yeah.
So, Mom, here's a fact for all the Michiganders. Good, random icebreaker. I like an icebreaker in a conversation that's like both interesting but random. Where like I walk into a room and it's just like, here's all these random people I'm meeting for the first time. It's like, yep. Do you know that we actually got Szechuan pheasants in exchange for hydroelectric assistance? Yeah. It's like, what's happening?
Who invited this guy?
Yeah.
Did you, in your research, did you notice the 2 different ways to spell Szechuan?
So I knew that I kept spelling it wrong.
I don't think you were spelling it wrong. So what I saw, because I saw it's how's that one spelled? That's this
one is
SCZ.
SZECHUAN, which is the way I've been correcting mine to spell it.
Yes. And then there's the SICHUAN or something like that.
Okay. I wasn't spelling it that way either. Okay. So,
but there's something I totally butchered that. But there's 2 ways to spell it. And halfway through my research, I'm like, am I looking up the right thing? And then turns out, depending on whether you're east or west in the Sichuan region, or I think it's east or west China or something like that, that kind of determines how you spell it. So I forget which is what, but it'd be like California spelling something different than New York. So that's how you get the 2 different.
It makes me feel better, but I feel like it was something where they gave me a second shot at trying to spell it right, and I messed it up still. It's like, all right, it happens. Try again.
I'm the worst speller. I don't do words very well. I'm an introvert that started.
There's a couple things.
Co-hosting a podcast.
There's a couple things that I always am amazed by where it's like, hey, people that used to be terrible at spelling, now they have all these autocorrect things. Where now if someone texts me and it's really misspelled, I'm like, there's no excuse other than just impatience in getting this text out.
For me, it's like, you spelled it so bad, autocorrect's like, dude, I don't know.
I've texted people before where I say, you have to resend that. Like, oh, did it not come through? Like, no, I got it. I don't know what it means. And then the other thing that always amazes me is like, it used to be like you'd have to remember phone numbers. How many phone numbers off the top of your head do you remember still?
Probably 4.
Yeah, I got like 3.
Yeah.
I got 3. I got like my dad's, my old house number for my house that no longer exists. And I've got like 1 or 2 friends that I called back in high school a bunch. And so it's in my head.
Yeah.
I have, one of them is Mark's. So I got Mark's. So it's like I have a very important, high profile, number in my head. Weirdly, he hasn't changed. All right, let's get into the score on this because we did definitely go over on the 15 minutes for this one, but this is a really good sauce.
You run over your score.
So just to go through how we do the scoring, again, it's a 100-point scale. If it's above 75, it's one that we would want stocked in our kitchen regularly. If it's above 50, it's still a recommend to buy. It's one that we'd probably still buy periodically. The 25 to 50 is one that we might not tell you to go seek out, but it's one that we still think is good. And 0 to 25 is not for us, maybe for you. The 25 to 50 I always compare to like grocery store hot sauce. Like we like Frank's, we like Louisiana Original, but it's not one where it's like if someone's never had hot sauce and we want to introduce them to like something really to wow them, that's not what we're grabbing.
I might with Frank's.
Well, that's why our scores are sometimes different. Our scores lately have been like bouncing around like about 10 to 12 points apart.
Yeah.
Which is, I actually prefer that. Like when it is interesting when we're like, hey, we each are within a number of each other where it's like, okay, we're in total agreement on the sauce. But I do find it more interesting when it's like your preferences come out in the score versus, or my preferences. Louisiana was running 10 points higher on average for me. I didn't do the math or anything. It would be funny to like analyze, like, here's the graph on our picks. But just to kind of go through, I'm going to tell you right now, I think this is the highest sauce that I've ever scored on the episode or on the podcast.
I think I'm either tied or second.
I'm trying to think of what the highest thing that we've ever scored, and I need to start keeping a tally.
The highest one I've ever scored was the other Lucky Dog sauce.
The Thai chili?
Yes.
Okay. I have this as a 92.
A 91.
That's the first time we both had 90s.
Yeah.
So a quick update on this episode. Mike has no idea that we're doing this update. After we gave it one of the highest scores, or the highest score we've ever given it, it was just announced the other day that they won first place at the Scovie Awards for that sauce. So
That's so funny.
Yeah. I'm like, Mike doesn't know what this is about. So just a big congratulations to Scott. I'm glad the Scovie Awards listened to us.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Acknowledged our
You're welcome
grading
for the
scale.
influence. Yeah.
But,
no, it's not surprising though.
Yeah.
Like, congratulations. That's awesome, but it's not surprising. It's a great sauce.
Yep. So congratulations again. Just wanted to throw that update in there since we haven't released this episode yet. So it's really good.
Yeah.
It reminds me, and not in the flavor specifically, but in just like the layers and the depth of it, and just the fact that I want to throw it on a burrito, of the El Perro. Like, it reminds me of that, just in like layered flavor, smoky, get it on a burrito right now.
Yeah. It's different, bold flavors, but it meshes well.
The problem with this sauce is I want it in a larger bottle so I can put it completely over a burrito.
With a wider mouth on the bottle.
Yeah. Like, I'm looking at this and going, this isn't going to last.
That's a burrito.
Like, we just did Mill City Red a few weeks ago by Crack Sauce, which is just straightforward, fermented, Louisiana-style sauce. Mm-hmm. Not a whole lot of, like, layers to it because it's Louisiana sauce.
Yeah.
2/3 through the bottle. Like, just burning through it.
Yeah.
This, I don't think, will last as long. That, like, has lasted a week. This one, it's really good. It has a good heat. It is a strong heat. I have is like a high 2.
A 2+ for that.
Yeah. But it's one that it's not going to restrict me from, like, going back for more, where if I smothered something with this sauce, I wouldn't be like, oh, I got to take a break before I have another bite because of the heat.
Yeah.
It might be because of, like, how much I'm eating.
Yeah,
but
I might have to add a little bit more burrito to the sauce.
But yeah, that is...
Dude, that's a good one. I like that.
That is a fantastic sauce. Like, anniversary sauce, I can't... The only thing I'm bummed about is because I burnt the tip of my tongue. I can't tell if if there's numbing taking effect, or it's just the tip of my tongue is somewhat
I don't know if I'm getting numbing. I'm getting a very standard hot sauce burn, which I wouldn't say is numbing, but it's kind of, after a while, it's like something's going on there.
So now we're going into a little bit more intense situation. We have the Hound sauce, which is the fire roasted pepper sauce with the Carolina Reaper, mango, and tamarind. This one, again, by Lucky Dog. This one, I'm gonna do a different fact because I know that you are overlapping on this one. And I feel like mine isn't.
Depends, though.
Okay.
I say we go for it and just see. This is going to be a very apples to apples fact off, I think.
Okay. I feel like mine, like, when I get something that's interesting like that, I go too deep. All right, but so just because we're going to do that, I'm going to go through the other fact that I have.
Okay.
That is one I listened to again on the interview of Scott on Talking Heat. So, obviously, the logo is always the same dog on the front. Notice the background?
Yes.
So, the background has animated or drawn different types of, devils, demons, whatever it might be. Have you ever heard of, it's both a comic book and it's a TV show on Amazon, The Boys?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Very popular. I don't want to make you feel bad.
No, I don't watch a lot of TV.
So The Boys is...
Listen, I can tell you about Chinese chickens.
That's
from the 40s.
Chinese chickens is what Bare Naked Ladies were talking about when they were like, did you hear about these Szechuan pheasants in Michigan? Fascinating. These Chinese chickens. I'm like, what? What did you say? Say that again. And he had his stutters like these chickadee China Chinese chickens. It's like
so fun.
That's it.
That's the birth of a phenomenal song.
It clicked. It's a phenomenal song that no one in our office knows because they're too young.
Don't ask me about pop culture.
All right, but The Boys it was a comic series, became a TV show. It's basically comic book. There's a comic book show that is flipped on its head. Like, superheroes that have these unlimited powers are really not good people because there's like a disconnect between them and like the real world, which is way more realistic.
Yeah.
And there's a whole, that's a very general, very like non-accurate, like it's not selling it the best it could, but based on a graphic novel series that was done by Derek Robertson. Okay. Derek Robertson, he's an American artist that he's a comic book illustrator that did, co-created Transmetropolitan. He also did The Boys. I think he's like executive producer on it as well. Because there was another one that he did that he didn't have as much control on. So they messed it all up. Mm-hmm. But he is someone that Scott had known from, I think just from like growing up. Reached out to him just like, hey, can you do anything with this? What would it cost me? Just wanted to, see if you can do something with this. And there was an exchange of this for sauce because the guy was out of sauce, which exchanging stuff for Lucky Dog sauce is a pretty fair.
I feel like,
fair. I feel
like you're getting, getting quite the deal on that.
We've been working on our own, like trying to get work on a logo, which, we'll see when that becomes official. But when it's like, hey, we can exchange goods, I'm just like, we don't have goods. Like, we're just a podcast with
we can give you a shout out.
It's like, oh, well, you can, give us credit on the website. And I'm like, we don't sell merch.
Yeah.
Can give you an extra day early content to the episode. But
we'll state a fact about you.
Yeah. But let's open this one up. We're going to give it a try, and then we're going to go into the facts. Beautiful again. So this one, a little bit more red to this. The other one has a little bit more brown feel to it. I'm a little bit more scared of this one.
When you see it like bust, the mercury busting out of the top of the glass
with the atomic cloud, and then the description here, it's bordering on unnecessarily hot. Hellhound is sure to be a favorite among hot sauce aficionados looking for some much more flavor with their fire. Rare for a sauce with this heat level, Hellhound is unique, complex, and layered, seamlessly blending the searing heat of a Reaper with roasted peppers, mango, tamarind, and roasted garlic, with just a touch of evil mixed in for good measure. No extract needed to burn with this sublimely savory, slightly sweet, and hellaciously hot pepper. Man, this is a tongue twister that pairs perfectly with almost any dish. Oh, man. Hellhound's hotter than hell, but it's still food's best friend. But yeah, label art by Derek Robertson.
Nice.
All right,
You definitely have to leverage your famous friends, right?
Yes. Got to figure out how to do that more. I don't know why I smelled the seal.
It smells like styrofoam.
Okay, it smells good. It does smell hot.
Ooh, that smells like oil. Like hot oil.
Oh, okay.
No, do you know what I mean? Like when you smell like a hot, just like not an extract, but just like they almost have like a very hot pepper. It has like an oily.
Mm-hmm. That makes more sense.
Sticks to your nostrils.
Smells like oil. That quote's not going to be a good seller for.
No.
Okay, I'll see what consistency. I think it's a little bit thicker.
Oh, she's thick. I'm going to mess this one up. That's going to come shooting. Oh.
Scott did mention it's not a bad pour. It's pretty thick.
I guess you'd rather have this than something really runny that's going to blow your plate of food out.
Scott did mention on that interview I listened to also how he likes to try to use the apples and things for sweetener because like the pectin, like the consistency that it helps with, and also it gives it this like little more applesaucey texture to it.
I'd say it's pretty close to applesauce.
I'm worried.
Is that a big enough pour there?
It's covering the spoon.
Okay.
I don't know.
Just checking. I'm heaping.
Yeah, you have a higher tolerance than me.
Ready?
No. The other problem is I swirl it over my tongue. When I swallowed it and hit the back of my throat, it is...
That's hot.
My stomach just started to gurgle. The Battle of Zion has started in my stomach.
Yeah, that's funny.
Matrix reference. Now I have to like caption the reference I make just to see if it's something we go, yeah, okay.
It's definitely building up. That's hot.
Yeah. So my eyes are already watering.
It might be a 4.
It's probably, I'm assuming if it's already at that point, it's already at a solid 3. If the taste is really good.
I'm getting a little sweaty.
That's insane.
I like
for you.
that. I would put, this isn't unusable.
No.
This isn't like a novelty where it's like, hey, this is going to
it is challenging for me to use that one. That is definitely It
has an interesting texture. Did you know, it's almost like a little, it's not crunchy, but there's like some seasoning in there where I get like almost a little bit of a grainy texture.
I'm be honest. I'm having a hard time with this heat. So you're going to analyze that one a little bit more. But yeah, so ingredient list, rice, vinegar, onion, Carolina Reaper pepper, water, jalapeno, applesauce, dry roasted garlic, fresh garlic, tamarind concentrate, mango, agave, lime, granulated garlic, mustard, flour, pepper. It's a very garlicky sauce and I like that.
I think it might be the garlic, but it's good. Like if I'm feeling good from a heartburn standpoint and I know it's time to eat a burrito, probably opting for something like that.
It's intense.
I would use that. Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh.
That is hot.
That might be the hottest thing that I've had. I'm trying to think if it's hotter than Muerte 2.0. Just breathing through my mouth.
I'm trying to think back to that one. They're both hot.
It is also weird.
Teary-eyed in my left eye.
My eyes are watering. My tongue is on fire. And I look over at you and you're just like, a little teary-eyed. A little bit there.
I like that. But he did a good job with, if it's going to be that hot, he still has that like layering of flavor in there.
Yeah. No, the flavor was the first thing that I encountered. I like the garlickiness of it. I like there is sweetness in there. It's just hard for me to focus on it right now.
Are you sure? That's funny.
So I'm gonna
hit me with your fact. Take your mind off it.
All right. I have a big, long description here, so I'm going to try to trim this down because it is about Cerberus, the famous hellhound.
Yep. Yeah, tell me about him. I have no idea, and I've never researched this before.
Yeah. So Cerberus, three-headed dog.
Yep.
Guardian of hell.
Yep.
Stopped the souls of the dead from escaping and unwelcome guests from entering. The fact that I'm going to do for that...
I can't stop salivating.
Me too. So, did you know that each head of Cerberus represented something different?
I did not know that.
It's kind of a debatable thing, but they said, one source said that the Hellhound's three heads represent past, present, and future, respectively, while others said it represents birth, youth, and old age. Which birth and youth, I don't know. I thought like youth, middle age, old age. Why not spread it out a little bit?
Right, yeah.
But yeah, so I found that to be interesting, that it was like the three heads actually represented something. It wasn't just a cool visual. That it's like there was a reason for the three.
Mm-hmm.
I have some stuff about the description of like what they look like and all that, but I don't want to go over too much stuff there. But I just thought the three heads representing different parts.
Yeah, I didn't. I'm surprised I didn't run into that. Maybe
Boom.
I glanced over it. That was a good one. So I saw a lot of mixed things, like a lot of not contradicting information.
Yeah.
But it was just very widespread information.
When it goes that far back.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
how you interpret it.
Takes, yeah.
It's the telephone game over a couple thousand years.
Yeah.
So what I found in many stories relating to Cerberus, he's made up of canine, lion, goat, and snake. So he's not just a dog. He's a mix of many creatures. It just happens to look like that mix of many creatures turns out to be a dog.
When you think of Cerberus, is there any specific iteration of Cerberus in like movies or TV or whatever that you think of, or is it just kind of
Hercules,
the animated,
the cartoon?
Yeah, that's what I think of too. Which is just straight up a dog.
Yeah,
they don't go into the
and Harry Potter.
I did see one that said some of the representations had their mane, which a mane is not like a dog. A lion has a mane more than a dog, but their mane is made of like snakes.
Yeah,
which I thought was cool.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it was a combination of those animals, but it's just, I think for the sake of maybe simplicity, it's just usually represented as a dog.
Yeah.
And when it is represented as a dog, sorry, I double facted you. Catch me off guard on this one.
You know what? I'll throw another fact at you after this. Fine.
Okay. When it is represented as a dog, it's most commonly represented as a Malosian hound, which is a type of mastiff.
Oh, nice. Malosian. That's fancy. Did you know that it had a powerful bite that was laced with powerful poison? When this poison fell to the ground, a plant called wolfsbane would grow in its place.
Really?
According to, you know.
Right. Yeah. That was a real... Is that true?
Yeah.
That's, what is it?
And that's where they got their pheasants from.
Yeah. Randy Quaid. You serious, Clark?
Yeah.
Huh.
But no, the Cerberus one, that it is interesting. It is, but it is something where like when you go back that far, sometimes when I try to go into a fact that's like more historical, if it's too far back, if it's not something more recent, there's like, well, here's what people say, but then here's what also people say, and here's what also people say. Or what was the one where the guy that claimed there was horse meat in his cheesesteak, and then later on found out that he was the one that made the claim to get people to like come and like see if it was true, which then we're like, well, nowadays he would be in trouble for doing that. I know Roddy had said on the La Muerte 2.0 that was the most they've heard us react. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I reacted more on this episode. I feel like this one hurts more. And
it's hanging in there. It's died down, but it's still, it's at like
it's
a
really
3
affecting
now.
My tongue. And I don't know if that burn is having an effect. There's a hot sauce that it just made me think of it with the tongue. There's a hot sauce that there is some fun fact, I guess, about certain types of tongues that I can't wait to do in a future episode, but I know what episode it will be for. So that's a
what
tease.
What do you mean there's certain type of tongues?
That's the tease.
What?
Yeah.
Not making any sense.
Maybe it's the hot sauce. Maybe I'm never made more sense in my life. All right. So I like the flavor in the sauce. How I said on the other sauce, so you could pour this on something and just keep eating it. Mm-hmm. For me, this one would take a while to eat. If I was just pouring it directly on something. If I was mixing it into something if I was making a hot dip or queso or whatever, and I want to put that in there, you could have a little bit more. I talk about how the La Muerte Reaper sauce is one that is probably the hottest sauce that I can eat a lot of.
Yeah.
This one would be a challenge for me. This one seems like it is a Mike sauce for sure.
So I like how it's not just hot. Like I said,
the flavor
the layer flavor
is great.
With that, I'm in the mood to get a little bit tortured right now. So,
well, because like the just hot are usually the challenge sauce, the novelty sauce of like,
yeah,
and usually it has extract or whatever. It's amazing the amount of intense heat that this has produced without any like extract or I don't think any powders or anything either. It's just all natural pain.
Yeah.
So
what do you have for a score?
I have an 80.
Okay, I had 79.
We don't look at our scores.
Yeah, we don't check scores.
We don't look at our scores, but it is something I don't like to go into all the details of like how we score things, but it is something that we spend a lot of time. I think it's the thing that took us the longest before doing the podcast of how do we do these? Like how do we, because we kept looking at different ways people rate things, and I always just found it dumb that wine scores. Why would you say anything below 60 is not wine? Well, then why do you have that? Like, are you just trying to quantify what's, like, hey, 12 is ketchup. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, I just didn't understand that. So, but yeah, these sauces have always been, 70 and above. It is something that the only thing I will say, the score usually we say 75 and above is we would recommend to buy in stock in our fridge. This one would be a tougher one for me to go through.
Yeah.
I know one of the things he prides himself in is sauces that are so flavorful and good and not extremely hot to where people can come back every week and buy more sauce.
Right.
Because why would you want to sell someone a sauce that they're going to hold on to for 2 years?
Yeah.
This would be a challenging one for me, but this is also a good one of like, hey, are you trying to increase your tolerance? Every day, just do a teaspoon.
Yeah.
And just like power through. But the flavor is so good. It's one where you get the flavor while you're suffering, but it is intensely hot. Like I said, my stomach is.
I'm down to like a 2 now.
I'm down to a 2 now.
It's still hot.
Like the sweat still exists and the water in my eyes still exists, but it's from earlier times.
I got the sniffs right now.
Yeah, I got the sniffs. That's the only thing with. I was talking to someone about how there was a barbecue radio show locally in Grand Rapids that every Saturday, I don't know if they still do it, but they do a barbecue show, a radio show. And I'm like, what a dumb idea. Why would I want to listen to people talk about barbecue? And I was telling someone that recently, and then they paused and looked at me, and I'm like, I understand. I do a hot sauce podcast.
Start a podcast.
And this is the episode where it's like, why would someone listen to you trying it and then sniffing and coughing and
right.
But
gurgling. Typically
we're not always doing ones this intense. We have another, I don't know if you realize, we have another hot sauce that is another challenging one from Sam Sauce that's going to be coming up soon.
Yeah.
The One Drop.
Yep.
So that'll be an interesting one. I know we do sometimes theme episodes. We did the chicken wing one. While it would be interesting to compare all the really hot ones, I don't know if my body would
That'd be
survive.
kind of fun. Just the gauntlet. We can call it the gauntlet episode. It's just the hottest ones we've had.
So
did you put this as a 4?
Yeah.
I had it as a 4 too.
Yeah, I have this as a 4. This is good pain. This is good pain guided with garlic.
Yeah.
Because the garlic is definitely coming through the whole like initial, during, and aftertaste.
Yeah.
But not intensely, just like it's there. The one thing I will say is I was talking about how like I've tried so many sauces that we could do like our own hot ones, like 10 wings, progressively hotter. Someone thought that would be pretty cool. I'm like, honestly, what I would probably do is I would do 15, 5 of a medium or a mild, 5 of like a medium.
Yeah.
And then like that intense, like, okay, everything's slowly, gradually increasing from like 1 to 10. 10 to 5 is an exponential, like more of an actual challenge. You take a bite of them, but they're tiny.
I want to waste them.
do a McDonald's nugget.
I was going to say a chicken nugget dunk one.
Yeah. But I would say, like, yeah, if you did a boneless Juju Bird's wing, that'd be a lot of, that's like 5 chicken breasts.
Yeah.
They have some good ones. But yeah, Lucky Dog, I'm never expecting anything less than like quality layered sauces from them. So this is not unsurprising, but it is 2 sauces that I know the anniversary one I've been really excited to try. Trying to get an excuse to add more sauce to an already growing collection. Still trying to figure out how to store them all. Still trying to figure out, so where to store the existing or the unopened, if I need to buy a mini fridge for the opened, and where to put all these stickers. Those are the 3 challenges.
You have a lot of stickers?
Yeah.
Pretty much every box.
Most boxes have stickers. Lucky Dog didn't do stickers, which I appreciate because I have enough stickers. But LuckyDogHotSauce.com is the website to go to. They do have 4-pack gift boxes for $34.99 right now, which is a really good deal, especially for the sauces that you're going to get.
This would be a really good, if you know someone that likes spicy food, instead of getting the whoop yo ass hot sauce box from Walmart.
Yep.
Like, this would be an awesome replacement for a Christmas gift.
My brother-in-law, he likes good, hot, spicy food. I got him one that's a little bit more just like hot to be hot a while back. Mm-hmm. And he's just like, yeah, he said thank you, but he's not really using it. Yeah. This one I feel like he would use more. I think this one would be, the flavor of it would kind of come through for him, but I'm still, my body's still recovering.
My salivary glands are still going. I feel like I'm leaking over here.
I was going to eat something for breakfast after this, but honestly, my stomach needs a break.
I want to go get a Bragel and cover it in both sauces.
I want to get a bowl of white rice and a banana and just layer.
Some boiled burger.
Jeez.
He's on the sick dog diet after this.
Yeah. But anyway, that's our quickfire episode. This one was a little bit longer, but I'm okay with that with the type of sauces that we got to try. And again, LuckyDogHotSauce.com. Check out his Instagram page. He'll update on there whenever he's at markets or at different events. I do believe he will be at the Fiery Food Show in March. I know he's been there before, but otherwise, just check whatever he's posting for where he's at. But yeah, I'm not sure. I think this episode will be coming out sometime late November, early December.
Okay.
So, because we are getting ahead, which is exciting.
Yeah.
Which is exciting, especially for the holiday season where we'll probably catch back up to being even. But
yeah.
For any updates for us, just check out our Instagram page at the Heat Source Podcast. You can also message us in the link in the bio for our Gmail. And also you can just message us on Instagram if you have any thoughts, recommendations. Hook and Arrow just said, hey, you didn't do a fun fact on your episode. And it was our normal big episode. And I'm like, why don't we do that? So now we might introduce that into future episodes. So we are open to any type of feedback, suggestion, sauce recommendations, events that you think would be cool to either attend or something to try to be a part of. I know Boston Hot Sauce Fest was the one I was at this year. We are talking about potentially getting out to a festival next year. Just depends on distance, time, and money.
And family size, maybe.
Yeah, family size, children. But yeah, so again, thank you for listening. Please rate and review if you have that ability. But again, thank you, Scott from Lucky Dog, for sending these sauces over. And until next time, we will talk to you later.
I'm going to go blow my nose now.
I'm going to be honest, my stomach is like immediately when I
heard it within 4 seconds. Like
it gurgled.
I heard that.
It gurgled is like you son of a